Here in the now, I am hearing the now as I listen, I listen. The sound that goes on, in the ground, in the here and now, hear the song of the earth, she was singing in the side, in the circle around with the sound that carries the ancient memory constantly, gracefully, calling us to heal. Now stewards are we from the inner world to the world we see, raising up our voice for unity. Here in the now, I am hearing the now as I listen, and 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 I listen.
Greetings Internet, it's your soul, and this is my first video on documenting my own experience with the Wim Hof method, which I put a video up not so long ago covering some of the details regarding Wim Hof and who he is, and this is going to be going into a bit more detail regarding the actual process that he teaches for basically allowing you to evolve and change your state of consciousness and your connection to your body such that you're able to achieve certain feats which previously most people thought were impossible. I've known for a long time that what he's teaching is actually a combination of techniques that are very, very old, that are taught in Tibet and other places, in monasteries and temples and so on. And there are numerous people around the world who, throughout history and in the present day, have been documented, and you can see videos of them now, doing the kind of things that he does, which includes, I mean, in his case, swimming under the ice, I think it was in the Arctic, for 50 meters or something like that, on a single breath, with no special clothes, just in shorts, doing amazing feats which basically are meant to be impossible. So he has shown clearly that we are able to directly affect the functions within us which we have been kind of taught and thought were outside of the conscious reach we have. It's interesting that the images you'll see of Wim, actually, when he's achieving some of his 26 world records, are of him swimming under the ice, because often the conscious mind is described as being a bit like an iceberg, or let's say the mind is like an iceberg, and the conscious part is the part above the water that we see, and the unconscious part is much larger and it's beneath the surface and it's hidden. It's interesting that we see him swimming under the ice, because he is literally going into the unconscious to achieve this. Part of it is deconditioning your expectations regarding cold and stress, and part of it is deconditioning your response to that stress, so that when you encounter stress, your mind is able to remain aware and focused, and to continue what it needs to do, rather than going into a state of panic and shock, which may result in you not being able to respond to the environment and potentially dying in extreme circumstances. So that's a large part of it. Another part of what he's teaching is deep breathing exercises to oxygenate the body and gradually to detoxify and clear out some of the kinks and traumas, let's say, and blockages that are held in the nervous system, the energy systems of the body. It's not really until you actually do this that you can really fully appreciate it. Many people I know ridicule this kind of stuff, and they've just never done it. It's just silly it's silly for them to take an opinion or a position on such things when they have no experience of it. It's, what can you say? But anybody who does this kind of work, breath work, doesn't have to be the Wim Hof method, any kind of major serious breath work where you are literally doing deep breathing for extended periods, you are going to start to go into your unconscious and subconscious self, and you are going to start encountering images and emotions that you don't normally recognize as being present. Usually you're going to know some of them are there, but you don't really pay attention to them. They sort of fade into the background mesh of your mental framework. But through doing this kind of work, you very much bring them into focus. So just to give you an update on where I'm at, I've been doing the Wim Hof method for 2 weeks. It's a 10-week course. Gradually gets more and more progressively challenging each week. And the first week was fairly simple. It was the same deep breathing circuits that you do most of the weeks, or if not all the weeks, I think. So it's 30 to 40 deep breaths. almost breathing completely out, but not quite, and then holding your breath as long as you can, with your breath out, basically, seeing how long you can last before you absolutely need to breathe again. And you record how long you can do that for, and then you take a deep breath and pump that out, and then you repeat the cycle, and you do that 3 to 4 times. There's also a bit of yoga, light yoga and stretching to sort of tune the mind into the body a bit more, and to train you to be able to focus into stress in the body and where you're stretching, and breathe into it rather than resisting it, which we do often by default because we don't like pain. We try and avoid it. But yoga and any effective inner work basically trains you or retrains you to stop avoiding your pain, because you actually need to be feeling it to heal, balance and evolve. So yeah, once you've done that, then you would go and take a shower, a cold shower. Each week you take progressively more and more lengthy periods in the cold water, and interspersed with a bit of hot water. And I'm not somebody that really likes the cold or cold water at all. And I can remember going canoeing when I was 16 or something, and the water probably would have been frozen if it wasn't moving so quickly. It was very cold in the winter, and I capsized. So I didn't have a full wetsuit on, and all my body locked up. Never been that cold in my life. I thought I was probably going to die, but I just about managed to bring myself back and not completely panic, and was able to breathe just enough and move just enough to get out of the water. That to me was not fun in any way whatsoever. It's one of the worst experiences of my life. So the concept of deliberately going into a cold shower for extended periods and then progressively on into ice baths and rivers and stuff is just like, whoa. It's really one of the least attractive things I can think of to do, after maybe going and jumping into a pit of snakes or something like that. But I'm doing it. And so in the first week, you're asked to measure how many push-ups you can do. Just normal push-ups, nothing special. And because I haven't been to the gym for a few months, I've just started going again now, but I hadn't been for a couple of months. And even then, even though I've been going to the gym before, I wasn't really doing push-ups. So really wasn't able to do very many. I think I did 11. This is before doing any Wim Hof training. And so at the end of the first week, I could do, if I'm right, 50% more, something like that. So I could, whatever it was, maybe 15, 18, something like that. But the difference was that I was doing it at this point without breathing. So in the second week, you're asked to start doing push-ups, and basically I was able to do it without breathing, 50% more than I was at the start, even though I was breathing when I did it at the start. And now at the end of the second week, I'm at the point where I can do 300% of what I could do to begin with. I did 33 push-ups today without breathing. So if you think about that, in 2 weeks, that's 3 times the amount of push-ups, but without any breath. So how is that possible? Well, I can't tell you all the answers to how that's possible, but I am going to the gym as well, so that's helping. It's building my strength up a bit. But I would say a large part of it is I'm retraining my brain, and I'm also oxygenating my body so that it's just working better, basically. And I think that's part of what he's teaching is. But if you listen to his interviews, he talks about having survived out in what he calls hard nature, the real hardcore nature, on his own in extreme circumstances, often without even really hardly any clothes on. He has good insights into what this kind of breathing does, and also there have been quite a lot of scientific studies done with him on this, and the conclusions they've reached basically are that your body works better when it goes through this kind of process. You just get a better flow of electrical nervous energy and hormones and neurotransmitters and so on moving around your body, which basically just means it works better. I haven't yet actually read all the scientific data and studies that are available on this, but I'm gradually going to as I move forward. But I would say that's completely true, and also the aspect regarding dopamine and serotonin and other happiness type chemicals. Many people have reported their depression has cleared up and illnesses have cleared up after doing this work, and I totally accept that's real. Often when I come out of the cold water, I'm laughing. I'm so happy, and it's not that I'm happy because I've come out of the cold water and I'm like, oh, thank God it's over. I mean, I do have a bit of that because I don't like the cold that much, but It's not that. It's a kind of organic, internal, system-wide happiness that isn't really being. It's not the result of something that's happened. It's not like, oh, this thing happened, now I'm really happy. It's a chemical process, and it is explained as being related to the stress response. He would explain it basically as saying, I think, partially that it's a result basically of sort of living more naturally, where your body is able to cycle through between warmth and cold as you would do in nature a bit more, and so your body just is set up to do that, I think is one way of putting it. So you're just living more naturally, and I do feel that that's the case. Even though I haven't done this properly outside yet, it is winter, so I'm probably going to start doing this in the next few weeks, but even just being inside and moving between the warm and the cold, definitely it's a big thing. And I would say anybody who has issues, psychological issues, issues with stress, depression, a variety of issues, definitely consider trying this out. Don't just randomly jump in a bath or something like of cold water. You need to do this properly and get the material, get the videos, and actually learn from somebody who knows what they're doing. But yeah, highly recommended. And yeah, the other part of this is that I've been involved in emotional processing and healing for a long time, and even though I know the importance of bringing my consciousness into my emotions and allowing them to move and express, doesn't mean to say I always do it, and I do still have blocks in that regard. Do still have kind of a belief system that says, oh, you know, don't have the energy for that, don't have the energy for feeling all these dark energies in me and emotions that need to heal, just want to sort of ignore it and carry on my life kind of thing. Even though I know that isn't going to work and ultimately it's going to hurt me in the long run, I still have this sort of slightly depressive aspect that doesn't want to deal with it. But when you do this breath work, that part gets turned off. The part of you that basically is blocking this stuff out just doesn't really get a say anymore, because you're so drawn into your inner being that, you know, you become a much more real person. Ultimately, you're suddenly tuning in much more to what's really happening inside yourself, and the idea of blocking something out just doesn't really register anymore. It's just, well, why would I do that? It's a different sort of mindset and mind state. So today and recently I've been finding I've had to stop the breathing and have to redo it a few times, because I just had so much emotion coming up, lots of grief and tears and sadness, which really has been held in me for quite a long time, relating to family bereavements and so on, different events in my life. And but I know now that I need to just allow that to express and to move, and just to stop what I'm doing and let it come out. It's more important than basically anything else in my life. It's more important that I clear those energies so that I can be happy and healthy and productive and do what I want to do and learn as well. And it really is a process of learning, and this is the thing. It's actually a process of real enlightenment. It's not enlightenment is not just a toy word or a light concept. Didn't quite mean to use that same word again, but enlightenment literally is an actual energetic process which is real and tangible, and you can experience, and will cause changes within you on many levels. And I describe it as being a process of understanding. So you're actually learning deep, important understandings relating to your life and yourself and what you need to learn, basically. And I imagine that everyone is going to have different understandings on that path, because they've got different interests, different focuses. For me, I like to try to focus on solving problems and solving the world's problems and bring more joy into the world and love and so on. So that's the kind of information I get, and for me that's the highest information there is. In terms of the general direction of it. So I've had some quite powerful experiences as a result of that, and I'm quite used to, my channels internally are quite open to receiving that information in these sort of emotional moments, because I know they're learning opportunities. So yeah, this really, I'm just letting people know about this. It's amazing, and I'm also, looking to keep a record of this for myself, and also to maybe pass this on to other people who follow me doing Wim Hof. Not literally follow me, but do the Wim Hof method after me and are beginning out. Definitely there's a lack of information about the emotional aspect of this, because humanity in general doesn't really do emotional processing on the whole. So do be conscious of the need for your yin aspect, let's say your feminine aspect, to heal and process. This isn't just a macho, masculine thing of, oh, I can hold my breath the longest and go in the cold the longest and prove myself to be a winner and blah blah blah. In reality, it's got nothing to do with that at all. And I actually think Wim Hof only really has these world records to prove a point that it's possible, and I think that's to be commended. I actually don't think he was doing it really as a competitive thing. I think he's a lot deeper than that. So yeah, if you've done Wim Hof method in any way, then leave a comment under this. I'd love to hear your insights. And I'm moving on now to the third week, which I've just done the first one of, and it was quite a challenge, I have to say. It's 2 minutes in the shower, 1 minute cold, and it's icy here because it's snowing, and then some warm water, and then another minute in the cold. Yeah, that's I didn't actually make it. I did like 1 minute 45, and I just had to stop. It was just too intense, but I'm sure I'll get there. There's visualizations to do, the Tomo meditations, visualizations. I've never yet got that to work, but we'll see. Maybe I will do and get the hang of it. And yeah, apparently if this works, then I'll be able to sit in the snow and melt snow, and you'll see steam coming off of me. So I've never seen anyone do that in real life. I've seen it in videos, but yeah, that would be pretty amazing. So maybe next time you hear from me, I'll be doing that, and I'll give you a demonstration. We'll see. Either that, or I'll be maybe in the hospital. So yeah. Anyway, much love to everyone, and yeah, until next time, peace.